Hey Leo, what's up? Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your June 2024 monthly tarot reading. I cannot believe it's June already. Holy smokes. Let's get you some clear, helpful, insightful messages. What's a narrative I can share with Leo for the coming month or so? Set the intention now. Focus on our energy to connect with the Leos out there. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. As always, guys, these are general messages, so please take away only what resonates for you and release the rest. All right? Here we go. For Leo, what's coming in? Let's get some helpful, positive messages. The Eight of Cups. What are we walking away from? Tell me more, please. We're walking away from the world. So, I don't know, something that actually ended kind of happily. I almost sense that like you've achieved something that you maybe didn't think you were capable of, or you manifested it faster than you thought, or you've reached some sort of career high or some sort of high in your life. Maybe you've obtained or reached a personal goal. There's reason to celebrate. And something about that has further motivated you or encouraged you to go after something like a new undertaking, or to go in even deeper, if that makes sense. It's like, if I can do that, I think I can do this. And you seem very much like, okay, it's go time. Let's do this. We're in Gemini season, so this may even have to do with sort of like the revelation of new and important ideas and information that set you off on a path that you didn't anticipate going down. Or if you did, you didn't anticipate going down this soon or this fast. Or do you understand what I mean? It's like you're about to embark on a new adventure because something has made you feel better prepared or more ready than you anticipated. So you're like, all right, I guess we're doing this. That's how I would encapsulate that energy. Now, it's not necessarily going to be easy. The Eight of Cups, it is a Saturn card. So I think it's saying prepare yourself emotionally. It might not be, just coasting on your laurels. In fact, I think it's going to be anything but. I think it's going to challenge you at times, but in a way that's going to breed really beautiful results. Saturn is moving through Pisces right now, so let me think. Where would that be for my Leos, at least metaphorically? Let's see. I think that would be metaphorically your 8th house. Does that sound right for my Leo risings anyway? So that says to me, it's like, yeah, it's a very spiritual house. It's strong. It's funny I said health. Very spiritual house, strongly related with Scorpio energy. So where our lives may be in crisis, or where we are feeling more pulled to explore the depths of things, like deeper psychology, especially for ourselves. Saturn moving through Pisces, it feels like, who do we need to figure out who we are internally in order to operate externally in the world? It's like we're doing a deep dive into our emotions, into our soul, into our even relationships, I would say. I know, deep stuff. All right, here we go. Tell me a little bit more. So what is Leo? I almost called you Pisces. Maybe you're dealing with one. What is Leo headed towards here? This Eight of Cups endeavor. It's like, we're not done yet. We got bigger fish to fry, bigger and better things. All right, so you're on a path to heal things or to make amends with something that really tripped you up. It's funny because the Five of Cups, you can tell it's not like the happiest card. I jokingly, which I shouldn't, but I jokingly call it the total eclipse of the heart. Because when you're in this energy, it feels like your whole world is ending, but that's not the truth. That's your emotions or your thoughts lying to you. So that's why it's important to recognize, like, in hindsight, we're going to realize that we did overreact to something, but when we're in it, it can feel extremely overwhelming. So when this card comes up, it always cues me as the reader to be like, hey, be a little gentle with them. What's interesting about the way these are falling out, though, and just to finish that up, Five of Cups, it's like we think all is lost, right? Don't cry over spilt milk, though, is kind of this card. But we think all is lost, but it's not true. Again, it's an inaccurate perception of what's going on because we're blinded to the reality that two cups remain. Having gone through something that shook us, that maybe had lackluster results at some point in time, actually set us up for better success, but you might still be bridging the gap of understanding that or seeing sort of the silver lining, if you will. What's interesting about this reading, though, is that this is what you're going to tackle with a more motivated, empowered sense of like, okay, I got this. Like, you may have even had like a breakthrough in therapy. That's what this feels like too. It's like you start to see things from a higher perspective, and it puts you in a place where you have a newfound faith in yourself. Oh my God, I love that, Leo. What a great message. you have new faith in yourself and you're like, you know what, I can do this. I do want this. I want to make my life better. I want to be a better person. I want X, Y, and Z. So not only am I going to sit there and meditate on it and manifest it, this feels very action motivated. Like I'm going to go out and do it. And for a lot of you, that do it mentality does have a lot of action and energy being put into healing and emotional type scenarios. Maybe it has to do with a partnership. Some of you, you're going back to make up for lost time, especially in some sort of romantic partnership. I don't know if it feels like you guys were on the outs or if you took a break or this is like the one that got away. And if that was the case, it seemed like it really kind of threw you for a loop. Maybe it did a lot of damage, but whatever the case, it's like whatever left you, or maybe this isn't you, maybe this is someone else in your life. Whatever it is, you're going back to revisit what I would imagine is going to be an emotional conversation and try and sort of find the gems, extract the good stuff from this scenario, this relationship, this whatever it is, and make the best out of what was once a crappy situation or something that, again, it defied expectations. It didn't turn out the way you had wanted or hoped. So rather than, and no offense, I'm giving you tough love, but I think you guys are here for it. Rather than crying about it more, it's like, okay, I'm mixing it up. I'm completely going to like change this or reinvent it or breathe new life into it. I'm going to take a negative and make it positive, right? Okay. I do like that energy because you're approaching something in a new empowered way that really at one point in time left you emotionally crippled. And Two of Blades. Let's see. So this feels very like Mr. Miyagi Karate Kid. It's like giving yourself mantras in order to approach something with better balance and clarity this time around. This is like before you have to do something that intimidates you or incites fear or saying something that needs to be said, giving yourself a minute and checking in and like taking a breath. Like it feels very like, I'm not going to let fear, which we talked about with Saturn energy, right? I'm not going to let fear stop me from doing it. I'm going to acknowledge the presence of fear and work through it anyway, emotionally, but also mentally too, and possibly verbally. You guys are really in tune right now. There's something very psychic about kind of this Two of Blades energy. It's like you're tapped in, you're plugged in, you are receiving a lot of messages from a higher power, from, the divine, God, source, spirit, whatever you believe in. And I think, okay, this feels, again, like going back to make something right or to right a past wrong. And I'm not saying it has to be in a romantic connection. I think for a lot of you, it does kind of feel like that. But maybe it has to do with going back and honoring your own inner child. If at one point in time it felt like you abandoned yourself in the process of something else, it's going back and nurturing that thing that you weren't able to nurture at the time, because it's not about shame or guilt or fear. It's like maybe you just didn't have the tools. At the time, you didn't have the skills, you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the life experience, right? This feels like you are coming through in a very mature way of being the exception to the rule, of being that person who can come in and admit when they did something wrong or admit fault or offer an apology, even if it's, months, weeks, years later, to the person that you kind of burned or you hurt or you left them behind because you just couldn't have the heavy conversation, so it was easier to just break off and go. A lot of you've done a lot of work on yourself. I think you've been very reflective on the past and your own traumas, your own wounding. And it's like your wounds have become your wisdom. You're in such like this empowered warrior mode this week that even if, I'm wanting to, how do I phrase this? Even if your apology, again, that might be a metaphor, but if your apology or your announcement, even if it doesn't land the way you want it to with this person, you're still going to do it anyway, because I think you are working to clear your karma, and part of it is selfish in a good way. Hang with me. In that, maybe not selfish, but it's like you're releasing the own burden of having to carry that on your back for the next several chapters in your life, carrying around that wound or that memory of that time you did the thing and you still feel awful about it. It feels very much looking at the skeletons of the closet and clearing them out. Now, some of you, maybe this quote unquote apology or whatever, maybe it's happening on an internalized soul level. Maybe you're writing out an apology note and, burning it or sending it into the air. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's not addressing an actual person. Maybe it's addressing a feeling and being able to let go of that, what feels like a very heavy burden or heavy feeling, or wanting to make amends with a person or a situation, whether they are still here, whether you're still with them, whether they're still alive, wherever they are. Before, you were very opposed or inaccessible or averse to wanting to address the issue because it hurt too much. I see you starting to let that guard down. And I do feel like some of you have someone who is supporting you in a sense of like, it almost feels like a therapist, or again, maybe it's your connection to a higher power, feeling like you are being supported and protected in this endeavor. But I get the sense that you're being encouraged or nudged to go through this healing process because it will be very cathartic. It does feel like a purging. And like now that I'm thinking about all this energy, this very much feels like Leo rising, right? Pluto has moved into Aquarius. That is your 7th house of long-term partnerships, contracts, things of that sort. Pluto is about power dynamics, but again, it's also sort of like it penetrates deeply. It has a lot to do with our past, again, psychology, crisis, things of that sort. So some of you with that Pluto transit, maybe you are looking back on the past and wanting to clear things out once and for all, getting rid of all the guck and the muck, right? And the gunk that you've been carrying around emotionally for so long that it's like, you don't need that anymore. It's like it muddied the water and now it's time to sort of release that and let it go. And it feels like healing through water and cleansing. Some of you may specifically be doing some sort of health ritual that, yes, maybe it's showering, maybe it's taking a bathtub or a jacuzzi, whatever, maybe it's swimming in the ocean. But there is something to do with like the emotional purge and the releasing, where it feels like you've been holding these swords up metaphorically for so long. We just need to let them go. We just need to release them. So for some of you, it does have to do with breaking a long held silence with someone that, again, you have a history with, you have a past with them. 2 of Cups remain here though. So it's not the same story for everyone out there, but I do feel like if this person is still living, breathing, able to pick up the phone or text you back, I do think they will be receptive to whatever it is that you are initiating in terms of healing some sort of emotional trauma. And again, maybe it's not romantic. Maybe it's with your parent. Maybe it's with your own child who went astray and you haven't talked to them in 2 years. There's something about making amends, because the past, it's like, we can't carry it around like it's a lead weight anymore. We have to release ourselves of that burden, because again, there's such a higher wisdom here of like, you did what you had to do at the time to survive, or you operated using the tools you had available to you. And now you've been through some sort of process where you have a lot more skills, you have a lot more tools, you understand yourself much better at a deeper level. And so you're able to address something in a new way and not feel as wounded or triggered by it. It's oh my gosh, it's really cool energy. I know this isn't going to be everyone's story, but this feels cool. What is this conversation? What might Leo be opening themselves up to? Or again, maybe this is someone on the receiving end. They don't see it coming though, is what's interesting. I'm sort of being told they're completely oblivious to the fact that you've been kind of gearing up to initiate some sort of healing conversation with them. Look at that, you guys. Aww. Stop it. In a weird way, this deck always kind of makes me cry because it's so cute. It's so cute. Okay, pull it together, Annie. Whew, my water sign is showing. Okay, here we go. Do I even need to say? Like, that's what this conversation is about. It's like, I think I do think for some of you, it does involve an I'm sorry. Or if it's not that, though I think it's lovely. I think it's lovely to admit fault and not feel guilty or weird about it, just to acknowledge that you could have done better for that person. Because it does feel like someone, I'm hearing damages, but there's another word. There's a clarifying word before that. Collateral damages. It felt like someone got steamrolled by you accidentally. I don't think you did it on purpose. I think, again, there was some sort of circumstance where shit was going down in your life, and you kind of it feels like you had to escape or you had to flee because it got too real too quick. I think this is you coming back around, being like, I wish I had handled that differently, even if it's not an apology. Or again, vice versa. Maybe this is coming into your life, Leo. But if that's the case, you don't know what I'm talking about because you wouldn't. You're blinded to this person coming back into your life. But this also feels like, I still love you, or I'm always going to love you, or, ooh, I'm getting like La La Land vibes. Have you guys seen that movie? Aw. So may I ask, like, what exactly happened? I don't know if I need to, though. I don't know if I need to. How am I doing? Yeah, no, we're going to pull an oracle card. That's what this is about. Bottom of the deck is Queen of Coins. Someone is, I don't want to say someone's dreams are coming true, but someone is making good on a promise to themselves to better their life, and this is a major stepping stone in that path to ultimate freedom from the past. Because the enlightenment process has already started to happen. The raising of consciousness, the depths of understanding of oneself has reached a pinnacle or reached a high point. And now it's like that has set you off on this new mission to go and heal something or someone else. And it feels like good karma. It feels like you're not doing it for that reason per se. I think it's just, yes, you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you're doing it for you, but I think you're doing it because you know it's the right thing to do. With Queen of Coins, it's Capricorn energy. So it's like, I feel there's a responsibility for me to at least address that thing that I couldn't in the past, and where I participated, how I participated, and how I maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda done it differently. But ultimately, I'm coming here today with nothing but good vibes for you. Like that's what this feels like. This feels lovely. This feels lovely, Leo. And again, if it's not you, maybe it's someone coming into your life. And it could be a best friend. It could be anyone that you've had a falling out with. Or I will say there was a vagueness with the Pisces energy. It's like, what even happened? Like, it's like one day we were good friends, we were lovers, we were partners. Then the next day they were a completely different person. And before I knew it, they weren't in my life anymore. It feels, and that's what I mean. It's like you both have been carrying it around, I think, for a while. Because it never had any clarity as to what totally happened. Maybe someone was struggling with addiction. Maybe somebody was living a secret life. But there was a lot of lack of desire to actually acknowledge or take accountability. There was a need to hide things or sweep things under the carpet because I think there was a lot of shame and guilt and embarrassment. No more. You've risen above that. You're willing to be vulnerable because you've changed so much. You're not that same person that you were, and I think you're hoping that this person is able to see you through new eyes. All right, let's set the intention for Leo. Let's get them one oracle card, whether it's related to the story or not. Yeah, this one. Thank you. Let's help them. Let's see. Sulfur. I'm going to read that. That reminds me of Hal in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Anyone? I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot do that. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can find the sucker. XX. There we go. All right. I'm probably going to botch this. This book always makes me feel silly because it has a lot of words I've never heard of. So bear with me. I'll do my best. Evaporation, up and out, both and. On an esoteric level, sulfur is the first of what is known in alchemy as tria prima, or the three primes. Along with salt and mercury, it makes up a threefold phenomenon that symbolizes the uniting of soul, sulfur, body, salt, and mind, mercury. On a tactile level, sulfur is responsible for both the off-putting smells and the therapeutic properties of a mineral bath. It soothes and it stinks, literally. To understand sulfur is to embrace a both-and mentality. Don't be discouraged if the meaning of this card seems to evaporate before your eyes. For now, keep in mind that what is gross contains beauty, and what is beautiful contains its own demise. Sulfur's job is to both push the geyser up and out, dissipating the pressure. Don't be surprised if what appears to be, don't be surprised if what appears to suck or stink soon becomes a great gift. That feels like Pluto to me. Pluto is very much connected to like the septic system and like things that we need to eliminate from our bodies, and like that's sort of like the gunk and the muck. There's like an elimination process, like a cleansing. Pluto ultimately does a cleansing, but it does it in kind of like a loud again crisis driven way. But yeah, that seems very symbolic of, again, like the healing powers of water too, coming through to like clear things out. Some of you have been having stomach issues, and it's like you're retaining things. It's like it's stuck in there. It feels like constipation, but it's almost like emotional constipation, things that need to be released because your body doesn't need to hold on to them anymore. Some of you may need to work through that in some sort of counseling or physical therapy or something. But I'm not a doctor, so that's where I pass things off to someone else. Thanks for joining me today, Leo. Please like the video if you're not already. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys showing up for me. Word of mouth is huge, so if you enjoy my readings, by all means, share it with your friends, tell your friends. I'm the Intuitive Teacup here on YouTube, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Thanks so much, Leo. Bye-bye.